Well, hello everyone. Today we're going to have a look at some of the fabulous tools, techniques and strategies that W.D.Gann created. They're very, very profitable tools and they work on virtually any liquid market. A liquid market is a market that has consistent volume, not talking about penny dreadfuls or the bottom end of the market, but any kind of a stock, any kind of a foreign exchange, bitcoins, cryptocurrencies, futures, contracts, you name it. The Gann tools work brilliantly with these markets. So let's have a look. I'm going to start with a typical stock ANZ through here. When Gann was teaching people in his day, he used to use what was called a mechanical method, and that is simply what we term today the Gann swing chart. And when we put that on our charts through here, what we tend to recognize is the direction of the market. We're looking at patterns within this swing chart, and it also gives us some really powerful indications of the next campaign or the next move. Now, the great thing about this is that irrespective of the market, it's mechanical. It's simply drawn by the market itself. We're looking at the significant turning points, major turning point up through here, major lows down through here. And if we can recognize which direction the market's heading, then that's the important thing for us as traders, to always trade with the trend. That's lesson number one. Most experienced traders will tell you that trading against the trend is like swimming against the tide. In most cases, you're going to end up coming undone. So what we can do is have a look. Now, one of the things that I did is to introduce some quick tools here, some modern tools that help us to visually spot these terrific opportunities. And I just put a moving average on through here. What that also does is you'll see that whenever we get the trend of the market or the swing very, very close to or reacting to the moving average, that's like a plug-in point. It's an energy spot. You plug the battery in and it gets recharged. And you can see here, when it's sitting on that average, then all of a sudden this market really starts to move. And what we can do is follow the patterns from the bars, follow the patterns from the swings, look at what it's doing in relation to the moving average, and then we get what we call a setup. It's an opportunity to take a position in a market and then start to take some profits out of it. Now, what I'm going to show you here now is a trade I actually took. You can see through here that the market was heading up and it's crossed above the average. It's broken through a swing top through here. So that's telling me that this market is more likely to rise rather than fall. But I can see that through using the swing chart that there was some tough resistance through here around 24.60. So I know if I buy this market around 24.10, if it goes to around 24.60, it's likely to have some kind of resistance. And as you can see, that's exactly what it did. But this fabulous swing chart and the averages were giving me clues here on this day, 10th of May, that the ANZ stock price should rise at least to this particular point through here. I'm a very high leverage short-term trader, but you can use this on any kind of trading scenario. You might want to just buy and invest and hold for weeks, months, or years. Or you can do it with days, or you can simply do it with minutes, intraday trading. The rules are exactly the same. Now, if we have a look, what I wanted to show you was the broker's statement here that indicates exactly what happened with that trade. So we entered on the 10th of May. The brokerage to get into that trade was $120, buying 5,000 CFD units. If you're not sure what a CFD is, you can Google that online, but a CFD is just similar to an option without an expiry date. You're just buying high leverage, you only pay a deposit for the trade, and the broker will charge you interest on the amount he's lent you until you close the trade out. So we bought in at $24.11. At $24.51, remember that the market was going to get to around $24.60 and would strike trouble. So I knew that if it got to this area, I could close that trade out for a profit. At $24.51, I've made a neat 40 cents per unit times 5,000 units is $2,000 gross profit. The trade lasted for 2 to 3 days. I paid interest here on the 10th of May. I paid interest here on the 11th of May. And there's my brokerage to get out of the trade. So the net result was around $1,700. And that, as you can see, was within a couple of days. And it was all due to recognizing these fabulous patterns and signals that came from Gann's mechanical method. So the system works. The tools work. It's up to us to learn the tools and apply them effectively in any market and in any time frame that we wish to trade. One of the other things that Gann told us was that time is more important than price. And one of the things I've been doing consistently over the last 20 to 30 years is giving people examples of what Gann was saying when he said that the number 144 was his greatest discovery in trading. Now we can see through here another typical stock. This is NIB, a healthcare provider. You can see through here that it made a major low October 28. The next major low came in through here the 20th of March, and the distance between them was 143 days. Now Gann said that number 144 was very significant in turning markets. So all I simply do from major tops and bottoms is watch for the 144 count, and then I look to see if the market changes trend or direction. And as you can see, the low price here at $6.70 has so far been up to $8.60. A terrific result, a great profit from looking at Gann's time factor. Now even Bitcoin, which we know is recent and certainly not even anywhere on the horizon when Gann was alive. He died in 1955, but his tools and techniques still work. There was a major low in Bitcoin on the 21st of November 2022, and the market continued to trade and quite volatile right up until April of 23. And on the 14th of April, it made its last top at around $31,000, and it's been falling ever since. But it's no surprise that the time factor between the 14th of April and the 21st of November is 144 trading days. You can see it quite clearly through here. So the Gann tools work on virtually any market that we wish to trade. Let's have a look at another thing that Gann did. He was very heavily into astrology, and he worked out planetary cycles and recognized that markets do trade to planetary cycles. And he was able to calculate the planetary cycles or the planetary angles. Because we know where the planets are going to be 1 year from now and 1,000 years from now, we can quite simply put these lines on our chart. And you can see that I've done this for us now. There's 2 separate planets shown through here. Very, very simple calculations. In fact, a 10-year-old with a calculator can do this if they know how to do it. And all we're simply going to do is just progress through here. I'm looking to see what the market does when it gets close to these angles. Now, when the market hits the line like it's done through here, and if it hits this planetary angle perfectly, then I'm looking to see if it changes trend or direction. And you can see that the very next day through here, that's exactly what Bitcoin's done. It's hit Gann's planetary angle perfectly and reversed. And as you can see, it had a very sharp decline. Now, these are golden opportunities for advanced traders if they understand what these tools are doing. All we're waiting for next is the confirmation from the market to tell us that the market is likely to reverse. Now, if we just continue to scroll through the price action, again knowing that these lines are drawn and will be continued to be drawn for years and decades in advance, then we're just watching to see what the market does when it gets to these levels. Now you'll notice down through here it's at another planetary angle. Most markets react to planetary angles beautifully. Some react to 2 planets, perhaps 3, but you'll find that you've noticed a particular planet reacting to a particular market, and that gives you the opportunity to be prepared. Now we can see down through here that the market's found good support again on this angle, and now we just watch to see what this market does. And you can see that it's bounced off that angle, and now it's starting to head higher. And Bitcoin just continues to head higher. You can see that it's coming back. It's now retesting the same angle that it tested previously. And when markets do this, what we tend to see is a very strong reaction, and that's exactly what Bitcoin's done. Now remember, Bitcoin is recent. Gann told us all of these rules nearly 100 years ago. Wanted to give you a final example on a currency now. This is the Australian dollar US dollar currency pair. What we can see through here is again a very volatile market, but significantly, if we look at major low to a major top, 145 trading days, and there's Gann's timing factor rule. It just pays to know these things. Now there are other numbers, and they are critical for market turns. The number 144, in this case 145, is a classic example of what Gann was doing with time. He created a tool, or he used a tool called the square of 9. Now the square of 9 he found on pyramids in Egypt, he found it in temples in India. It's a circle with numbers in it, and he recognized that it is very powerful and relevant in stock market trading. But he was starting with the base of the Aussie dollar US dollar currency market, doing one full rotation around the square of 9 was this price level here, 2 full rotations, 3 full rotations. Again, this is really, really simple stuff once you understand what it's saying. But you'll notice here that 3 rotations around the wheel, or 3 times 360 degrees, brings us to a price level at around 71.50. And with the market reacting at 145 trading days from another major low, we know then that that is a significant point, and we just watch the market to see if there's any reversals. You'll notice here that 2 rotations around the square of 9 from the starting point indicated a resistance level, and had been trying to crack through that and failed. And most recently it's come back to one rotation around the square of 9, 360 degrees from the starting low, and you can see again the currency has now started to react. What we also can do is look at Gann's planetary work again. You'll see there are different markets, and on this particular occasion what we notice is that there is an angle that the Aussie dollar is working to, and the Australian dollar hit that angle perfectly. And remember, these can be worked and recorded for years or decades in advance, and then we just watch what the market does when it gets to them. And when the market reacts to them, we know why the market's reacting, and Gann traders get very confident that the market should have a run, and it gives you the opportunity to put your trade into play. What we can also see is that we get to the top, and you'll notice here again that the Gann planetary angle has created a resistance point, a different planet. Just calculating these angles, having them run for months or years in advance, watching what happens when it gets to it. But this particular area now is really starting to become very significant, because we've got a square of 9 tool telling us the market has a resistance point. We have a major time factor, and we also have a Gann planetary angle. And all of these things coming together are so significant, and you can see that far and away that was the last major top, just around 71.5, and it's traded almost 600 points lower than that, which is a fabulous profit for educated traders. Let's just have a look now, and we'll zoom in and have a look at the Gann swing chart. You can see the Gann swing chart through here, the moving average that I love to use on my charts. And just in through here, I thought that the market was going to react to this square of 9 level, and you can see that it is now rejecting the moving average, and the swing chart is telling me that there's a resistance point there. So I took a position in this market, and I decided to take the profit from that. And again, if you have a look, you'll see there's my Aussie dollar trade getting short at 66.30. I closed that at 65.80 for a fabulous profit there. I also the next day did a intraday trade using the same techniques and strategies, the swing chart, the moving average, and you can see within a couple of days we've had a very, very good result. So the Gann tools are there. It's up to us as individuals to make the effort to learn them, because as you can see on this statement through here and on this statement through here, the profits are there if we put the time in to understand exactly what Gann was telling us. I hope that makes sense for you. Any questions or queries, you're welcome to send them through. Bye for now.